Hello and welcome to the Gay and Straight Talk. I'm Jonathan,
I'm Paul.
and together we are dissecting another hot topic. So, it's all about bromances.
I
Oh,
love a bromance.
rrr. Comfort zones around male intimacy in gay v straight friendships.
Hmm.
So,
Well, do gay men have? It's going to sound stupid and ignorant as always, but do gay men tend to have more women friends than they
no.
would have a?
Well, now I do. Um, but previously, we sort of, as a younger single gay guy, I used to have a pack of other gay friends
Right.
that
So
we,
let me explain why I'm asking that. Because if I just had sort of female friends, chances are I'd probably want to sleep with them.
mm,
So I'm looking at sort of the safety net. Like if I knock about with like my friend Craig or whatever, we're not throwing down. You know,
yeah,
because it's not what either of us want to do,
no.
thankfully.
Um,
So it rules it
so,
out. It means you can get drunk in the comfort of the room and wake up with just a sore head the day after.
right, yeah. So I'm with when I was single, and had a gang of, I did have I had some female friends, but I had more gay men friends. Some I'd slept with, some I hadn't slept with.
See, that's the bit.
But it wasn't. Say if we, I had some, we had something which was called the Wednesday Night Club. Wednesday Night Club was I started it, and the Wednesday Night Club was um, I met up with a date. I went for a date with Mark Mozart. Mark, he played the piano. Um, Nice guy, had a snog, wasn't for me, didn't sleep with him. And then I had a date with librarian Paul, had a snog, didn't sleep with him, um, but got on with him. And then I suggested, all right, Mark and not Mark, but Paul and Mark, they could get on. Now I think they did sleep together, but only the once, and that didn't work out very well. But then I brought Andy in, who I did sleep with and was in a relationship, and then we started all sort of kicking around, and we had Wednesday nights every fortnight. We met up for a meal. So we went out for a meal, sort of trading dating stories and blah blah blah, and then introduced other friends. So the Wednesday night club went to between 6 to 8 people each time. So every fortnight, with a gang of us. And then if there was one of us that had a date, and then thought the date was like, well, I think we're more friend zoning. Then we'd bring in fresh meat, so we'd trade off. Um, so that built up my collection of gay friends, and then we started going out. Still had the dating thing, and that was like an interchangeable feast of the guys that would come to the Wednesday night club. There was like hardcore about three of us or four of us, um, and then on the Friday night we'd go out as a pack.
Right.
So that would mean we'd start at, oh gosh, I think Via Fossa, then go to Union, then there was a bar called Falcon, and then go to Mississippi. No, was it Mississippi Showboat? And then end up at Cruise, and then end up at my flat about 3 o'clock in the morning for tea and toast. Um,
Well, it must be easier to friend zone then because
it's easier to.
guys are guys.
It's
So
easy for us though. So most of us had slept together. Well, no, no, not most of us. I mean, some of us had slept together, some of us hadn't. Um, but then sort of we thought, all right, that's not quite where we are, but we're good mates. And then so we all got along. And then you'd go
it's a
out.
different world then.
We'd go out as a group. So it was nice because then you went out as a pack, and then some of them would say, some would say, it's like, right, all right, I'm meeting up with some other friends after. Oh, I've tapped off and I'm going after Falcon, or we'll go to Mississippi because I used to have a jazz musician there, who used to piano and show tunes. Um, and I would normally finish at Mississippi Showboat. I didn't really like the club where you stick into the floor, but I'd go a couple of times, but it was just not really my scene. But so if anyone paired off, then they would pair off, and then we'd all speak on probably on the Sunday, because normally then we sort of met up or reconvened for Sunday lunch,
Mm.
sort of like late Sundays and a few
There's a lot
sundowners.
more socialising.
Yeah, it was so with regards to so we had our bromances. I mean, some of us we slept together, some of us we hadn't, but we're always introducing other people. But we had that support network
Right.
where, and some of us would have like we didn't have group chat. We had like text messages and things like that. But because we built up a big sort of relatively big following, so where we went, other people wanted to come along with us, and that's what created when I moved to Manchester, and the venues realised. I mean, I was a bit of a ringleader of that. So if venues had sort of like had an opening or a close night, they'd drop me a message, or can you bring the gang along? And pretty much I could guarantee I could bring between 15 and 20 people for that night. So I'd just literally send out a group text. Right, me and mine, we're going here. There's gonna be first opening free drinks, and then the social world was there, and so I think we were kind of flexible with that because I was a bit of a gateway to getting into bars. So then when people get recognised as being part of the group, then they get also included on guest lists and things like that. So it works in everyone's favour, and that was for about 3 or 4 years
Yeah, it just
until
sounds like gay guys are so much more sociable than straight guys. Because,
more horny.
well, yeah, there's that, but that's the thing. I'm not trying to sleep with Craig. I'm not trying. I'm
No, but the
not
thing
trying to
is, but
sleep with my other
you probably
heterosexual
went
male
out as a
friends.
big gang as a straight bloke. We saw it all the time. Straight blokes would go out, and then there'd be a gang of girls, and then you'd like, oh right, that one's nice. And then one would go and talk to that one, and the other ones would be start talking with everybody else,
Mm,
and then some would ultimately either tap off or they trade numbers and blah blah blah, and then that happens. But I think the gay guys have probably got other people's back their backs a little bit more, so you're keeping an eye out. It's probably a little bit like the girls do, where if they don't want to like their drinks being spiked and things like that, because you've got to be careful. Even in sort of the distant times of the early noughties,
mm.
you still had to be, because you knew that there was some rough things
So,
that
do you
went on.
think maybe you socialized a bit more because you were all horny?
Horny.
Like, so it's like,
Yeah, I
mm,
think it was because we created what we known as a logical family,
yeah,
where we had everyone had the strength. My strength was that I was a very good organizer, and where for people I could be quite persuasive. It was like, come on, come out, just come out for a couple of drinks, and they're like, but they knew when they came out they'd have a good time without blowing my own trumpet. It's just like,
if you could blow your own trumpet,
yeah,
you
we
wanted
say
them to
we
have gone
did
out.
it. We did have. We did have a gay dancing. Jeff could. Um,
Oh,
but yeah, it was a very bonkers time. It was a great time, but it was all transient. I mean, I'm still friends with them on Facebook, but we haven't spent any time together because ultimately a lot of us have all partnered up and just want different things. I mean, the moment I was in a relationship with Rob. We got married. Well, when we got married, we had a honeymoon in San Francisco. We were back for 3 months, and we were like a bit of a still the social whirl. But then we took off for a year traveling. So, and then everyone's lives moved on.
mm,
And then when we came back, we sold the loft and we bought a house in the suburbs, and thinking, "Oh right, we'll have more time in the city." But the concept of going out for drinks, and it was just like a bit too much effort. The thing is, when you're single, everything's an opportunity.
mm,
So it's an opportunity. So you dress up, you go out, you're having a good fun, you're meeting fun and engaging, and there's the possibilities. Whereas when you're when you've got that relationship, the desire of going to a bar and sticking to the floor doesn't doesn't really appeal. I mean, like after we finish this podcast, we're filming this podcast on the on a
Sunday the
Sunday, and
3rd.
Sunday the 3rd of August, and then we're heading off to our house where Rob's made Sunday lunch for us. Um, rather than go out, where previously it would have been like, oh, let's go out, we'll go out for a few drinks and we'll go and grab something. But then you're dropping money when it's just like not very good, not very exciting, and it's just
You're just paying to go and do it in that venue,
you're
whereas
doing
you
it to the
could
venue where we can do it
do it
at
anywhere.
home.
Yeah.
So a few beers, wine, and then that's it. We're sorted.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
So have you got more female friends now?
yeah.
Right. Because
So
that then makes sense to the first part of the story. Because obviously, if you were horny, single,
yeah,
opportunities,
because the thing is,
and
say
you're gay, you're
single
gonna be
single
around
gay
other
guys
gay
don't want to be around couples that too much because it shows them what they haven't got.
Hmm.
Um, single females of our age or females that are in relationships, they feel safe that we can have a nice time. We can meet up and do nice things like have a few drinks in the garden, have a like garden picnic and that sort of thing. We can have a nice jolly time and go home. There's no, we can do things around our own houses now rather than
Yeah.
go out somewhere, because when you go out, A, the cost, and B, it's always a bit disappointing. And when you go out, I'm, I'm not saying that we're wine snobs, but we are. But you're paying for 30 quid for an average bottle of wine, whereas if you spend 15, you've got a more exceptional wine that you would get spending 30, and you're probably going to enjoy it more. And then you can also have a nicer food because you know what it is and you can have a good time. And plus, I don't like the inconvenience.
You'd have to be dressed up either. You can be comfy.
Yeah,
That matters.
I can wear my Crocs at home in the
Exactly.
garden, which is marvelous. So, which is for me, that works really well. But it must be challenging for straight blokes because I see straight blokes coming into the pub, and so that you just feel like this feels a bit tragic,
Mm.
especially when they're a certain age. And but you have like we've got the cycling groups there's a cycling group that comes into the pub during the week, and we put on a little bit of food for them, and so they have a few drinks.
These
But
guys who just use cycling as an excuse to wear lycra and shave their legs.
no, well, they're in the 60s. They used to be rugby. They used to be rugby boys. Well, we know about rugby boys.
Your
But
version of rugby boys, yeah.
but I mean, you can see that they've not really grown up because the rugby mentality, because they're all a bit silly.
I like that.
And the thing is, you normally have 1 week where they're very raucous, then you have 2 weeks where there's not as many because obviously gone home pissed, and the wives have said you're not doing that again, and then they have to be on the best behaviour before they're let out, and then they egg each other on. But it's quite fascinating seeing that one because they try to drop swear words in, like like children do when they drop swear words in, thinking they're being cool, dropping
Yeah.
an F bomb. They're like, ooh, and you just think, oh god, you could see that they're suddenly transported back to when they were about 12 and they haven't really quite grown up, and they're regressed, and there's like these 60-year-olds with like bald heads and stubbly beards and bicycles worth more than a car.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the bikes are like 7 grand.
That's
This
madness.
is ridiculous. But you see that, but they're not interested. They're not interested in women. They're just interested in that male bonding
Yeah.
thing and having that time away. Because
It is lovely because when you're younger, obviously you've got all your mates, but they're all led by the penises because they're just so horny. So the only time they want to see you is when they then want to go to a club or a pub. So the
I
only
hated
time,
clubs. I hated clubs. I always hated
yeah,
clubs.
I did. It's too loud, expensive, sticky floors, and I wanted to see my friends.
I wanted to have a chat.
Yeah, and they didn't, because it was like we could go to a bar instead because it's quieter. We've got somewhere to sit. So
Yeah.
I was like 18, 19 wanting to do that, and they were like, I can't. I'm a caveman. I'm horny. So what would happen is they would then you either lost all your friends because you wouldn't want to go to the places they went.
Or you go out with couples.
Well, that they started then pairing off. So your friends died because for some bizarre reason, in the straight world, I don't know if it's like this in the gay world, but the second they are paired up, you don't see them again. They're gone. And
Or
then,
you only see them if you're in a couple as well,
yeah,
and
you
the
might
girls
get to
get
do it.
on.
Yeah. So
Um,
if your friend has met, this is the way it always works: is your friend meets somebody, and then the girl, because her boyfriend wants to see his friend, she's
mm,
like, "Well, invite him round, and I'll get Trish to come over because Trish is single, so she's all right for the couple in so long as it's with one of her friends.
yeah,
So you've kind of got to get with one of their friends, and then oh yeah, we're a foursome now. Whereas if you show up with a girl who the girl doesn't know, it doesn't really work
yeah.
because the
There's
guys aren't
the
allowed to be the
heckles are up. The
friends.
heckles are up. I don't know. I don't know if she's safe or not. She might want to steal someone else.
So the guys can be friends, but if you've got girlfriends from separate places, it doesn't
Yeah,
really gel. But if the girlfriend has a friend, then it's fine.
yeah.
If you find them attractive, which a lot of the time you don't. Because I remember kicking off at a friend's because I'd gone round to have a few drinks with my
Mm,
friend
mhm.
and his partner. I get round there, and this is when I was in my 20s, I think. It's not like it happened now. It wouldn't happen now. But there was a girl there.
Mm,
This person I wouldn't go for, I think is the
right,
nicest way I can put it. And they put a game on like the PlayStation where you were in teams,
right.
like a quiz thing, and I was paired up with the friend. And then they kept sort of like making silly little jokes.
Or you make a couple.
Yeah, like, oh,
Uh,
you did well there, you two, and stuff like that.
yeah,
And in the end, his partner said something about, oh, we'll leave you two alone. They were going to go in the kitchen for something. It was like, oh, well, I'll come with you and we'll leave you two alone. And I just stood up and I called out the elephant in the room
yeah,
and I just made it horrible. And I kicked off and I was like, right, well, I'm going, and I did apologize to the girl. I said, look, I don't know what you were told, but I'm not doing this.
yeah.
And like I'd left, and my mate comes out. I was like, "What are you doing? You're ruining it." I was like, "I'm ruining it." And it proper
Okay,
flared up and
yeah.
kicked off. And I'm not sure if I've seen him since, but
I don't
you know, so friends
know.
kind of disappeared because they got a partner, and then they throw you away. Straight guys throw their friends away for a
Well, I think
woman.
with some gay guys that happens, and you always find that the same ones are like they'll have the new squeeze, then you won't see them for 2 months, and then suddenly the Facebook status went it's
It's
complicated,
complicated, and
and
then
then
you get a
suddenly
text.
they're like messaging, "Are we going out tonight?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"What?
Do you
Who's
still
this?"
go to that place on a Thursday?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like yeah,
No, it's yeah. So then all that happens, and then let's say the successful ones they end up getting married, having kids, or whatever. But now is the nicer time because the kids have grown up, and
yeah.
they might reach out, going, "Long time no see," and then you might meet up with them, and that's the nice bit. It's like it's a shame we had to not see each other for 20 years.
But sometimes it's better because otherwise they'd only be dragging their kids around, and you'd be able to criticise them their shit parenting.
Yeah, well, that is the big one because when Craig, he's got three kids, and two of them were obviously a lot younger, a long time ago. And he said we would have spent more time together if I would have been tolerant to be around his children.
Mm,
So we missed out on a lot of friendship through a lot of years because
yeah.
I just don't want to be around kids.
Well, I just don't do kid. I don't like kids.
No.
I'll tolerate my god kids, but once or twice a year. That's
For a
it.
couple of hours.
That's it. Unfortunately, my goddaughter is I think 17 now, so
Another year she can buy a
she's a
drink.
bit more fun now.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So, dear listeners, what do you think? Do you think bromances are alive and well, or do you think it's a transactional thing until the herd mentality all pair off? Please do let us know in the inbox or any salacious information you may have. This is Jonathan signing off.
And Paul signing off.
Bye bye.